Peace and welcome to my channel, Healing While Hustling. So if you are here, you are someone who is committed to your healing journey. You are committed to healing spiritually, physically, mentally, despite what you might have going on, because you know that when you heal, you live a better life and everything else gets improved. I'm Coach Nicole Ahmad, the real life healing coach. And today, y'all, what we talking about is something that is super relatable. If you're a mom, you're going to get this, okay? So we are talking about how to heal when you are on full-time duty as a parent, okay? Like you have children or a child that you are raising, but you still want to take time for yourself. You're still working through things, maybe things that you went through in your childhood, maybe relationships that have really brought you a sense of harm or have just like thrown you out of balance. You are working through changing your limits and beliefs. You're working through changing narratives that you realize no longer serve you. But you're doing all of this while raising a child. It's demanding, it's stressful, it's can be frustrating sometimes because you know you're not exactly where you want to be. You're still growing into that person. And in the interim, you're like raising a child. So this video is for you if you want to have ways that are just actionable, that you can prioritize your healing and do things even in spite of being a full-time parent. Okay, y'all, so at first I had 10 actionable tips for y'all, but I just be like, okay, sometimes people just got a lot to do and you may not want to sit through a long video. So I'm going to break this into chunks, okay? I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, but stay with me because these are tips that you can start applying today, okay? So tip number 1, to still work on your healing while you're raising children, okay, as a full-time parent. So number 1 is to carve out mommy time, okay? This is so critical. Like, you have to make sure you have time just for you. Now, let me just be clear. If you have a newborn baby, your time is hard. You got to just squeeze it in, okay? Because you're on the baby's time. But once my baby turned 6 months, oh, honey, we was on a schedule, okay? Every day before 6 months, she went to bed whenever she wanted to, woke up whenever she wanted to. Like, I was at her full beck and call. At 6 months, I said, oh, no, baby. Oh, no, baby, we about to start having a little schedule. We about to have a schedule when you want to start laying it down so mommy can have some time for herself, okay? And let me just tell you, my daughter was about 8, and when she realized, she's like, Mommy, why do I have to go to bed and it's still light outside? I was putting her to bed at 7:30 every day from 6 months to about 8 when she started questioning things, okay? So it worked while it worked, but then when it didn't work no more, it just didn't work. But it's important to make sure you carve out time for yourself. And looking at my notes, and one of the main reasons is because you need to make sure that you have time in your schedule for you. If you are always on go, if you are always taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, working your job, running the chores, like even when you are spending time just chilling, you're just scrolling on Netflix, on social media, like you're not intentionally pouring into yourself. That's numbing yourself. That's just letting the time go by, right? But really spending time with yourself reminds you that you are important, that you deserve space in your day. And it allows you to sometimes just like to kind of step away from all of the responsibilities. It allows you to not just be somebody's mother, but you are you. So when at 7:30, I'd be like, okay, I'm done with mommy in for the day. Now, when she was a baby, of course, I had to keep going into the room and, soothing her. But when she got older, like 7:30, girl, it is bedtime unless it's an emergency, okay? Unless it's an emergency, something you really need. Like, I'm done mommying for the day. Like, I'm done. And that gave me time to just get back to figuring out who the hell I was, what the hell I wanted in my life. Like, what are some things I wanted to change, wanted to work on, to really get clear on what's hurting me, to really get clear on maybe why I do some of the things that I do. Just giving myself that time and space was crucial to my healing journey. So I encourage you to look at where you can carve out some time just for you. Now, a lot of times mom have this guilt, like, oh, I should be doing this. I should be cleaning the house. I should be planning extracurricular activities for the weekends. No, boo-boo. Okay, you are not just a mom. And people used to come at me, be like, that why you say that, like you're a mom, that's supposed to be like your whole life. I always said I am not just a mom. I tell my daughter that now. I am not just your mom. Okay, I'm a whole woman. Okay, I'm a whole woman. I am not just your mom. And I think a part of that guilt comes in when you feel like you need to always be giving and pouring. Like you deserve to give yourself some of that giving, some of that nurturing, some of that pouring, right? So even if you do have shame or you have guilt around carving out time for you, look, honey, be guilty, feel the guilt, and keep it moving. Do it anyway. Okay, eventually the guilt will get lower and lower, and eventually you'll be like, oh yeah, this is just, it just is what it is. Okay, so that is tip number 1. Carve out intentional time for yourself. Okay, so tip number 2, to still make sure you are working on your healing even while raising little humans, okay, is to set time aside to intentionally breathe. Yes, breathing is so powerful, and it is definitely a healing mechanism. So I don't want to say meditation necessarily, because there could be a lot of like mental chatter that comes up when someone says, yeah, you should meditate. Meditating is helpful. You may be like, well, I can't clear my thoughts, or my brain is too busy, or I just don't know how to meditate. I'm not someone who can just sit still and just think nothing, which that is not what meditation is. But to take all of the like extra noise that may come into your mind if I say meditate, I just say, hey, focus on breathing intentionally, okay? Because number 1, when you focus on breathing intentionally, it signals to your brain and to your body that you are safe. So if you are a woman like me, okay, who just, you know, kind of have like a dysregulated nervous system, right? Maybe you grew up in chaos. Maybe you have just like this survival mode mentality. You feel like you have to always be on. You always feel like, you know, something's going to happen. Even if nothing bad is going on, you like always like, well, what if, right? Like you're just like in this survival mode. You're always waiting like for the next shoe to drop. It's because your nervous system is dysregulated, and I had to do so much healing with my nervous system, and I'm still on that journey. But really focusing on your breath, like that could be really helpful. So for me, I started to do that with my daughter. I told you when she hit 6 months, I started creating a schedule for myself. And a part of that was waking up and having a morning routine. And I started to just sit with my breathing. Like I was just literally focused on my breathing. And I found that it just calmed me. Like I felt safer in my body. And also when you do that, when you spend time intentional breathing, and especially in silence, right, it allows you to hear yourself. And with all the noise of the world, with all of like, you know, your kids needing your attention, work needing your attention, your spouse needing your attention, friends, society, the news, all the things, like being able to sit in silence is healing. Like when's the last time you sat and really just listened to yourself? When is the last time you just sat with yourself without your phone, without TV, you know, without a book or anything, just sitting with yourself? And when you are able to sit with yourself, it gives you a superpower, okay? And let me tell you what that superpower is being able to sit with your emotions. When you learn how to just sit and focus on your breathing, it's not just about learning how to just sit with your breathing. It's about being able to tap into that when other things in your life may arise that cause you to kind of get out of balance, right? So when stress comes, when anger comes, when maybe jealousy comes, when frustration comes, like you're able to sit in your emotions. And how do you do that? You focus on your breathing. You're able to detach from the story of why you're feeling that way and just sit with your breathing. You're able to be present. So it's a tool that you can use in your everyday life. It's not just about sitting still. It's about how it translates into you being able to handle just stuff that may come up, you know? So spend some time in intentional breathing. And if you may be like, well, I don't have time for that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You got time, okay? If you were watching this video, you got time, okay? You got time. And it doesn't have to be like a long time. It could be 5 minutes. You can start with 2 minutes. You can even start with 60 seconds, okay? But just see how that impacts your body. And let me tell you, you're going to like it, okay? And you're going to want to keep doing it. And you're going to want to keep building on it. Because when you stay consistent, you see the power that it gives you. So look at your calendar. See when you can be intentional about doing it, whether it's at the start of the day, the end of the day, as long as you get it done. Okay, so stay with me, okay? We were almost at the end. Stay with me. Okay, so tip number 3 for healing while you are still raising children, still raising little humans, okay, is to show yourself self-compassion. Okay, self-compassion is not something that I'm sure you hear often. It's not something you were raised learning. It's not something that, your parents tell you you need to do, that your boss tells you that you need to do, that your friends tell you that you need to do. Like, self-compassion is not one of those words, okay? But it is pertinent to your healing journey. You must embrace self-compassion if you want to heal. So let me just give you a quick story. So I am someone who has dealt with major depression, okay, for many years. And when I would get into those modes where I just feel depressed, like I started having all this negative thinking. And then I started to beat myself up. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you feeling depressed again? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I would start talking to myself in an angry way. I would call myself names, and I wouldn't even want to repeat the things that I said, because I wouldn't even say that stuff to like someone I don't even like, but I was saying that stuff to myself. I was not showing myself compassion. I was showing myself anger. And when you are not able to give yourself compassion, you're not able to heal. Because when you are like focusing on negativity, when you're focused on criticizing yourself, there is no space in that to heal, to just feel, to work through things, to give yourself the space to process. There's no room for that when you are being a critic to yourself, okay? So it's this book I read called, it's called Self-Compassion, and it's by Kristen Neff, I believe. And she has 3 elements of self-compassion. So 1 is self-kindness, 2 is common humanity, and number 3 is mindfulness. So self-kindness is basically about being kind to yourself like you would a friend. So for example, for me, like when I was feeling depressed, I'd be like, baby, what's going on? Baby, what's going on? I'm sorry that you're feeling this way. Like, this must be hard. Like, I started to talk to myself in a kind way. I used to be like, baby, sweetheart, love, what do you need today? What do you feel like you're not getting? Like, I would touch myself, caress myself, be gentle with myself. That is self-kindness. The next part of that is common humanity versus isolation. So I started to think about like all the other people who deal with depression, that it's not something that is just, unique to me, right? There are millions of people who deal with depression, and we have that common humanity. And it like lets you know that you're not alone, and whatever you're going through, there's someone who is experiencing the same thing, something similar, the same feelings, the same emotions. You are not by yourself. And a lot of times when you're going through something, you want to say, oh, woe is me. I'm the only one in the world who's dealing with this. I'm the only one who's going through this. But you're not. A part of self-compassion is realizing, hey, we are all humans, and we all experience these same emotions as part of the human journey. And then part 3 of self-compassion is mindfulness over identification. So mindfulness is saying, like, for example, if you're dealing with depression, it's like, right now I'm feeling really sad. Right now I'm feeling, a sense of depression, but it's not becoming so consumed by it. When you're like, this is just all I am. This is who I am. I'm a depressed person. You're able to separate your emotions from who you are. Just because you deal with depression doesn't mean that you're a depressed person. Right? So mindfulness gives you like a space to disconnect from that identity. The emotion doesn't become the identity. And that's really important as you heal. Yeah, you may do things, you may experience certain things, but it doesn't make you who you are. So that was really important to me. Instead of saying, hey, I'm a depressed person, I would say I'm someone who deals with depression sometimes. So I stopped identifying as that identity. Because it's powerful when you identify as something, like you start to look through life like through those set of eyes. So it's important to be clear about how you identify. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic for another day. How can you show yourself more self-compassion? How are you beating yourself up right now? Are you saying you should be doing more? You should be giving more. You should be in a different place in life. You should have more money, a bigger house. You should be able to give your child better opportunities. You should be doing all these things. You should be in a better relationship. You should be, more fit. You should be this. You should be all this. You should be healed by now, right? Like, where are you not giving yourself that compassion? And I encourage you to find ways to give yourself kindness. How can you be more kind to yourself? How can you realize that what you're going through is a part of the human experience? And how can you find ways to be mindful, to say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing, but this does not define who I am? Y'all, that's powerful. And you can still do this while you're raising humans. And you know how you do it? You make sure you put them to bed at a certain time, okay? You make sure you have that mommy time. Go back to step 1 if you need a reminder. Okay, so I see you still with me. So I know you finding value in this video, because these are things that you can start doing today. So the last tip for this video, because I know y'all attention span don't always be the longest, is to use herbs for nervous system support, okay? Herbs are so, I love herbs, okay? I am a herb girl, okay? And I have found so much healing with taking my healing into my own hands and not relying on big pharma to give me medications to help me calm my nervous system. I have started many years ago researching and looking up different herbs. So some herbs that are really helpful for nervous system support is oat straw, herbs like motherwood, herbs like chamomile, lavender, blue vervain, like the list goes on. But you have to, do your research and see what works best for you. And I my kitchen, it's crazy. It's full of herbs. I have, I'm a herb junkie, okay? Lemon balm also is really good. Whew. But I am literally a herb junkie, okay? I love to research herbs, and then I like to try them out on myself. And the thing is, when you take ownership of your healing, when you take ownership of regulating your nervous system, it makes you an active healer in the process. This is the part of ancient wisdom. As a Black person, that's what we used to do. There used to be a time when we couldn't go to the doctor. There used to be a time when we couldn't go get a prescription because the medical system didn't want to include us. So we had to make sure we went back to the earth. We went back to nature. That's a part of our DNA as Black people. So when you look to the herbs, you are an active participant in your healing. You're not relying on some doctor to say, hey, take this, and it has 50 million side effects, okay? And yes, herbs can have, side effects and things, and it could, affect you in different ways, but you have more power over that because you can do your research. You can see, how does this make you feel? Okay, no, I don't really like this. Let me try another one. So it just it makes you feel more empowered, because y'all, I have dealt with so much depression, anxiety, and I have gone to the herbs, and the herbs have literally changed my life. The herbs have been pertinent for my healing. I've used it for depression. I use St. John's wort. For anxiety, I used a lot of things like lemon balm. I used chamomile. I used lavender. I used blue vervain. I took passion flower when I was dealing with insomnia. I took that every night. I did valerian root. I am someone who goes to the herbs, and that just gives you a sense of power. So if you are dealing with something right now and you're hey, my nervous system is all over the place. I'm always feeling like I'm in survival. I can't sleep at night. My brain is always, running on 20 or running on 30. I can never relax at night. I encourage you to do some research on herbs. And the thing is, you do have to be careful if you are someone who takes a lot of medication. I don't really take no medication, so I don't really have no constraints. But if you are someone who takes medication, do the research regardless to see if it is good for you, see if it will work for you. But go back to the earth, return to the earth. And especially with the way things are going now, healthcare is about to get crazy, okay? So you need to take your health into your hands. When you feel like your health is dependent on a system that doesn't care about you in the first place, number one, and number two, they are robbing you blind. It is just crazy expensive. It may make you want to do something different. You have the power to heal. Okay, so you stayed with me to the end. Thank you. I hope you found this video helpful. So I am in the process of building a community for moms who are cycle breakers. Cycle breakers, okay? You are committed to healing. You are committed to breaking generational curses. You are committed to just doing things differently. You know, when we are being raised by our parents and then we become parents, we should want to do things differently. Every generation needs different things. Every generation grows in a different way, right? So if you are someone who is just looking to do something different and you want a community of women who are committed to being cycle breakers, breaking generational patterns, breaking generational curses, and who just want to really show up and be present for your child in the midst of your healing, look below, okay, because I have a link that you can go and join the wait list for the community that I'm in the process of building, okay? Like, it's taking me some time, but I just want to see if you're interested. I want to see if this is a need, if this is something that, you know, my audience feel like you could, you know, benefit from. So leave your information on the contact form. But once again, I am Coach Nicole Amai, the real life healing coach, and I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you taking the time to find ways to heal, because when one woman heals, when one mother heals, you are literally healing a generation. You are healing a generation that's coming after you, and you are also healing a generation that came before you. Like, it is a powerful stance to say, I am going to heal no matter what is going on in my life, because I deserve it, and so do my children, so do my children's children. So I thank you for your resolve to be different, for your resolve to not allow your pain to dictate who you are, but to learn from your pain, to grow from your pain, to transform through your pain. So hats off to you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, okay? It lets me know that you like the content, and it gives me the encouragement I need to keep going, okay? Because I want to keep bringing these videos, but I also want to know that, hey, that, you know, you feeling it, that this helps you. So let me know in the comments, or just give me a like and subscribe. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.